Welcome everyone to the Fullstack Demo Day here at Fullstack Academy. I'm here with my co-host, Nimit Maru and Gabe Lebec. We have a jam-packed show today, so we have more teams presenting than ever before. Mark, can you show us a quick shot of what's going on in the standby room? All right, so we have students out there. Hey, how's it going?
It always amazes me to see how students take what we've taught them and run with it and creatively make something that I could never have predicted.
So basically in the planning phase of our project, we realized that one of our main problems and one of my main challenges was to create the board itself. And what that means to us is how do we create a board that's both intuitive, responsive, and yet still keeps the mechanics of the original board game. And the way we approached this was to basically make each piece of the board a React component individually by using React Canva and the HTML5 canvas and layering those components that we made earlier. It gives us a lot of control in terms of front-end rendering.
Hey everybody, my name is Mitch, this is Dan, Alex, and Evans, and we're here to talk to you about our project, Boilerplate Pro. Now, the problem that we wanted to address was oftentimes when starting a project, it's really easy to get bogged down with all the configuration and setup. Sometimes you lose the motivation to even get started. This is a problem that exists across all industries, and it's no different for developers. Now, with Boilerplate Pro, you can find your perfect boilerplate, integrate it with the necessary services for your project, and deploy all within a few clicks.
Okay, let's pretend I'm a developer named Mitch starting a hackathon project. I can sign in with GitHub and see a list of projects or boilerplates to use. I could choose one here, or I could search for one because I know I want to use Electron and React. So I'm going to pick one, and let's look at the README here and see if it's something interesting that I could use for my project. And yeah, this looks great. So I'm going to go up top, give it a name, and once I've given it a name, I can click Start Hyperclone, and this will be polling it, creating a new repo for me, and pushing that to the newly created repo. And once it's cloned, I just want to go to my GitHub and make sure it's actually created. And indeed it is. Here's my GitHub with the newly created repo. And I know I want to use Travis for continuous integration, so I can click on that. And I know I want to use Heroku to deploy it. Now, I know not all boilerplates are immediately deployable, but for ones that are, this Heroku button will work.
We hope you start your next boilerplate project with boilerplate.pro.
All right, if you're a developer and you also struggle with choosing your boilerplates, remember you can vote for the team by clicking on the like button and
okay,
this one right here. That's cool. It's so meta. It's like I'm like
too meta. Yeah. No, I really like it. I think that it's a very real problem solved that they solve for themselves, and also actually a ton of other developers. I think it's not, boilerplates are not just useful for saving time, but also because if you're not used to using a certain set of technologies together, you may not know the best practices at the time. And this really gives you a head start. And so I can see it being used as a way to learn and also a way as a way to save time.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it right now. It looks really useful with exactly what I want to know. Stars, what technologies they're using, and I can filter by different things. So I can see this, adding value right away to the community.
When you're watching videos, it's hard to code alongside it. You have to open up a separate browser or a different program and find the source code somewhere else online. So we created code mode for one express purpose, to make practice easier.
Users just have to install our extension, navigate to a YouTube coding tutorial, open up the code mode drawer, and start coding.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool idea. The creation of these little micro communities around each video and each content creator, and having the editor tool. I also sympathize with them. It is like a little bit of a hacking thing to hack your stuff into what YouTube is doing and make sure that it looks halfway decent. So
with Marka, you can save, organize, and view anything and pretty much everything in a clean dashboard layout. So here's how it works. You can save an article with its URL manually through our website. But here's the cool part. You can download our Chrome extension from the Chrome extension store. Now, whenever you land on an article that you want to save for later, you can do so with a click of a button. Beautiful. Once you've saved your article, you can view it through our personalized reader. With our reader, we don't redirect you out of our web page, which means no need to wait for another page to reload. And what's more, check it out. No ads. With our app, you can enjoy your article without distractions, clean, efficient, and ad-free.
I used to be a big fan of Delicious, the bookmarking service from a long time ago, and recently I went to access all my bookmarks and I found out that they have turned it off or made it static. So I'm excited to import my delicious bookmarks to Markup. Wink, wink.
Summaries.io is a web application where you can pick and choose your favorite news sources and would deliver to you a daily summarization based on the content that you have selected. So here's how our app works. Once logged in with Google, you'll be taken to a dashboard where you can configure your news subscriptions. We provide a very wide selection of news sources, and you can also search for one that you're particularly interested in. Once you're done with your selections, our cloud functions trigger every morning, so the next day when you go back to your homepage, you will see a beautiful, sleek preview of your daily summaries. We have built a web app, a mobile app. We send you a daily summaries email through cloud functions, and we have an auto-generated podcast powered by IBM Watson.
And let me introduce the fifth member right now. Watson? Watson?
Oh, sorry, Adrian. I was busy generating the summaries. Hope you all enjoyed our presentation. Visit us at summaries.io.
Thank you.
That's very cool. Beautiful site, beautiful execution, and it's amazing how they were able to stitch together so many things to create, and the progressive web app too. That is, I know Google is like really excited about progressive web, so it's cool to see that they're hitting 100 on that, or I guess 91. We'll round up.
No, I like summary emails, but then I also need a summaries.io.
Puyo Puyo is similar to Tetris in that it is a high score chasing real-time puzzle game. But unlike Tetris, its logic and mechanics are much more complicated. Now, Puyo Puyo's playfield is a grid. Puyos will spawn in groups of 2, and they will fall from the top of the grid.
Yeah, I was always a big fan of Tetris, and while I haven't played the original game, the original Sega game, this definitely looks like something that I would be addicted to as well.
Yeah.
After every demo day, I feel like this is why I don't get any work done like the week after demo day, because there's so many games and apps to use.
Ashi is the instructor for the Grace Hopper program. Ashi, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Grace Hopper program, and let's see these projects.
Yeah, so we started the Grace Hopper program. You, in fact, started the Grace Hopper program last January, January 2016. And since then, we've graduated, I don't know how many students. I'm going with hundreds, yeah. Hundreds. It's the same program, it's the same curriculum as Fullstack, except we only admit women and non-binary people.
The goal was to create a virtual workspace where team members could remotely collaborate, and we were able to make this possible with the use of sockets. Different options attendees have when posting an idea include composing text, uploading images, which we've used Amazon Web Services to host, and appending links.
I'm playing with it right now on my screen. Mark, I don't know if you can cut to my screen and show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm dragging something that me and my wife, I'm showing my wife later, some baby picture framing on my wall, but it's cool that you can really just kind of use this as a whiteboard to discuss, and then capture, and then have different mechanism for discussion. So
in our game, you play as the head chef in a restaurant racing to serve your hungry customers. Here you see our recipe book. You can click to cook the recipe on that page or back in the previous page, and then you'll want to pick up your ingredients from the sous chef and race to each appropriate station to cook your recipe in time.
I was gonna say that I like my secret like time wasting thing for many years were some of these, or some games like this on Facebook, including Farmville and Dynadash. And so don't look me up on Farmville. My farm is way too featured.
Once your repo is loaded, in your sidebar, you can see the current file you're working on, any changes that you have made, anything to save, that is to commit, anything to stash, that is to remove, the local branches and the remote branches. Now say we have anything to save, then you can give a commit message and hit the commit button. By doing so, the graph gets regenerated with the current information as the node. On click of the node, you will get the commit SHA, that's the ID, the commit message, the author, and date and time. In this way, you have saved it locally. Now, in order to save it remotely, that is a repo in your GitHub, you can push the push button. Then all your data gets reflected in your GitHub. Now, you have saved both locally and remotely.
I will tell you, I think Git is one of those things where it's like once you get it, it is really hard to see a world where you don't get it. But even when you get it, you don't fully get it. I've seen both beginners and developers struggle with Git. And I saw a tweet recently by John Carmack, the famous like creator of Doom. He was like, people think I'm a genius, but they've never seen me try to do a Git merge. And so it's like
we saw some projects that look easy but were hard to implement. This one looks hard to implement and probably was hard to implement. And so yeah, it's good. Well done.
The game begins. Now, as teams go through, if you choose the right cards, you can keep going until you run out of guesses. If you choose the card that's from the opposing side or you choose a neutral card, you lose all of your guesses and you end your turn. The game goes through until one player reaches 8 or 9 cards, depending on the first player. Now watch out. If you choose the assassin, you might accidentally lose the game no matter how far ahead you are.
I mean, once you play this game enough, there's just not enough cards to make it like a computer could easily be perfect in knowing, right?
Oh, Nimit, we're gonna play Codenames for Money later.
We've developed an app that will get you faster to your cuddly companion. Basically, it's Tinder for pets. You can swipe right if you think that a pet might be a potential adoptee, or you can swipe left if that pet is just not for you.
I think that the gesture that Tinder popularized is such a powerful way to submit preferences to an app that I think it's almost underutilized. So I really like this. Really like the interface.
We're going to I want to introduce Ben Wilhelm. So Ben, he's an instructor there, live coming from the Chicago campus. Ben,
Hi,
can you
David.
hear us? Hey, how's it going?
You can hear me?
Yes.
All right, fantastic.
right.
So here in Chicago, we have 4 teams finishing the Fullstack immersive program. So to kick us off, we first have Group Mix. This is an app that allows event hosts and their guests to create collaborative playlists. It features a prioritizing algorithm based on real-time events at the party. So
we'll start by logging in with your Spotify credentials and then navigating to our Create Event page. Now, every track on Spotify comes with metadata values that reflect musical qualities such as loudness, energy, tempo, and things such as danceability, acousticness, and instrumentalness. You can set an ideal vibe for your event by assigning metadata values, determining their relative importance, and selecting any number of preferred genres. Tracks that match any of these preferences will have a higher priority in the queue.
Now that we've created an event, the next step is inviting users. Once you've done that, you're going to want to set your music preferences for this event. So on this page, what happens in the background is, as soon as you hit it, we make calls to Spotify to grab your recently played songs, top played songs, and top artist. Here you'll see your top artists listed, and you can choose which of them you want to be included in our potential playlist. What happens is we're going to grab the top tracks from those top artists, add them to your recently played songs and top played songs. Then we make a couple more of Spotify calls to grab the necessary metadata for our prioritization algorithm.
So as we know, social events are dynamic, and often the atmosphere changes during the course of the event. For example, it's getting late in the evening and you want to kick it up a notch. As a host, I could add points to happiness or tempo to my songs in my preference list. This would kick off a reprioritization algorithm that would update my playlist in real time and then update it on Spotify as well.
I'm always worried that people are going to judge me for my music, and so I would love to.
Every party I ever
that.
The game of Risk is about expanding an empire's borders as far as possible. Thus, it's the design of the board and the way the players traverse it is a main focus mechanically. We opted for a hex-based grid over squares to give the players more flexibility in their movement, as they would have 6 neighbors instead of 4. Additionally, every game takes place on a uniquely generated board. Before the game is made, a certain number of hexes are voided out and spread across the map in order to create a varied landscape.
I was happy to see that this team built out a version of Risk, a game that actually is holds a soft place in my heart from many years ago, and now a lot of people prefer Settlers and other games, but I really like it. I also really am curious to play the AI. That's a really nice step that they took to implement that in a very interesting way.
I agree with you that I think I have a soft spot for Risk because all you have to do is take over Australia and hold off Siam, and it's like half the game.
Actually, I will disagree with that strategy. I would say you got to go for North America first.
North America?
It only has
Australia
3
all the
borders
way.
and 5 armies.
Australia the way. And now I'm excited to introduce you to Dan Sobal. Dan was one of the 2 instructors for our inaugural Web Development Fellowship program.
So this is our newest program at Fullstack Academy. It's what you're seeing right now is the culmination of probably about a year of planning since its inception. This is our attempt at making our curriculum more accessible, more equitable to the rest of New York City. So what we've done is we opened up about 40 spots to any New Yorkers who hit certain lifestyle, selective service requirements, etc., and allow them to take our course for free. No upfront cost, no deferred tuition, and we're guaranteeing that they're going to get at least an internship at a New York City-based tech company upon their completion. So going back even earlier in the year when we were discussing with the city government, these students have been working with us for about 6 months. It was very competitive to get into, and all of these students did our on-site bootcamp prep as early as last summer, I believe. So it's been tremendously gratifying and exciting to see my fellow New Yorkers go from, hello world to what you'll see are very impressive products that they managed to build. Of course.
Hi, my name is Jonathan On, and I'm with friends and teammates Jonathan Chang, Shifang Jin, Andrew Niekamp, and we are the team behind Capture. Capture is a tool to aid an instructor's understanding of a student's emotional well-being in real time, as well as track their emotional data over a longer period. We built this application thinking of remotely held classes where it's more difficult for an instructor to gauge a student's need without that physical interaction or classroom.
All Pat needs to do to log in the future is to take a picture, and voila, he's taken to his dashboard. Next, we send his photo to Microsoft Azure's Emotion API for analysis. It calculates the likelihood of any of the 8 universally recognized human emotions, such as happiness, sadness, or fear of presentation.
While I am against the surveillance state, I would love to have this in like a phone app format that I could use with my wife whenever I don't know what's going on and why she's upset with me. I could just be like, hold on, Stan. Let me just take a quick picture of it, and so I would definitely buy that on the App Store.
So hungry. Alexa, ask for Sue.
My name is Sue. Tell me what food you have so we can start cooking.
What recipes can I make?
I found an easy tofu scramble recipe. Would you like me to tell you how to make it?
Let's start cooking.
The first step is cover a baking sheet with paper towels or a tea towel, then crumble the tofu into 1/4 to 1/2 inch pieces on top.
As you unpack your groceries, you can activate Sue via an Alexa device by saying, Alexa, ask for Sue. She'll ask what items you have, prompting you to add your food to your personal fridge.
I actually just installed an Alexa Echo Dot in my kitchen in preparation for this application.
Wow.
Yeah, it's because I for some reason when I'm cooking, I just can't. It's a good idea because like your hands are all messy and you're whatever, it's like, and so to be able to talk to Alexa, set timers, stuff like that, it's just a great idea. So I'm excited to try it out. It's like,
and this is our single player mode in Mercs. You see how he has to change his facial expressions to match all of these new emojis and move around in weird ways to grab all those coins.
Here, 2 players are facing off. One will hit spacebar, blacking out his opponent's screen, and adding to the frustration of not being able to hit his target emoji.
all right, that is a ridiculously good gameplay idea. I'm actually lit on my screen right now, and it's actually pretty hard to.
This is obviously a web-based game, but it involves players looking at each other's faces rather than simultaneously staring at a screen, and that just feels very wholesome to me.
Yeah, I really like. You almost forget about the technology while you're using it, and I think the best technology has that feature that you just start having fun, and then you forget about what you're actually playing or doing.
To help me walk through the features, I'd like to introduce our user Aria. Aria is fairly new to JavaScript, and she's been working really hard to improve her JavaScript skills through Code Combat. In training mode, Aria can choose to accept or skip missions, and here she can take her time to solve difficult problems and earn points, which will increase her rank and unlock new missions.
This reminds me a lot of something that I used to love doing, which is called Top Coder, where you would jump into a room and code against other people on like kind of speed. And it never struck me as like it's kind of a weird thing to do, but it's actually really fun.
Once the user logs in, they're greeted by the Viewtrition camera that is ready to analyze their meal. They take a picture that is then converted to a base64 string and sent to Clarify's vision recognition API.
All of the user's past meals are available in the meal log component, and they can open up any past meal and see the nutrition breakdown of that meal.
Yeah, but I really like the fact that they didn't like even assume that they got it right. They just they sent it over the API. They gave you like the best match possibilities, and then you could like just cross off it like very naturally just by clicking it if it wasn't right. And I really like the kind of natural feel to the UI that they put together. So this next group, Blacklight, is really interesting. In my former life, I actually was a neuroscientist. And I can tell you that memory, spatial memory, is the only type of memory we know for certain how it works. And I really think that they took this concept and jumped with it because they allow you to relate a location to a particular memory. And we can see how they do that with an AR framework. Let's take it to Blacklight.
You can choose any location, but this time I'd like to leave a memory that I had so much fun here at Fullstack, seeing solar eclipse during this bootcamp trip. And that day I didn't have no glasses, but one stranger gave me a pair. So I'd like to leave the memory here. Now memory saved.
As you can see, here I am in Hanover Square, right outside of Fullstack. And I'm seeing on the map that there is a memory close by, and I'm excited to read it. So I'm going to get to the marker, and I'm going to open the augmented reality tab. Using the phone's camera and the Expo AR kit, I'm going to locate the memory displayed here as the floating orb. We used 3GS to style and display the orb and to dynamically size its appearance depending on its distance from the user. When I click on the orb, it takes me to the screen where I'm able to read the memory.
That's incredible. I think the locking of the AR was really good, and I think it kind of gives me this idea that this impression that there will be two realities in the future, right? That those who are in this AR reality and then those who are in normal reality. And I think the video captured that well. That there's memories left everywhere, and some will see them, some will not. That's really cool.
But you two have been kind of talking smack to each other about board games all night, and I think this next group really put together an application to let you do it in a place far away from each other, so it doesn't turn out too crazy.
Nice.
When a user enters our site, there's about 20 different states that are passed back and forth between client and server. As you can see, when you're in your lobby, you can see other users who are online. You can also chat with people and let them know what game you'd like to play and break into rooms. You can also see the rooms as they're created and the games that are being played there. When you enter a room, the first thing that you're prompted to do is start your camera. This is one of the main challenges we faced as a team, as we wanted up to 4 live video feeds in a single room. You're also able to drop in pictures in 3 different ways once you're in the lobby. You can drop it in as a background picture, which is your game board. You can also drop in pictures that only you see that are resizable, and you can also drop pictures to everyone's screens that appear as tokens.
What I liked about that, it was just so clever in kind of breaking up the core components of what gaming is, and then making it easy to adapt to. That was really cool. But I think having the WebRTC and having this idea of dropping images that I can see, images that I can't see, it's enough to you can play. I could see a lot of games being adapted to that model.
But definitely WDF it's been pretty impressive to watch these guys grow from writing a single line of code in bootcamp prep to some of these applications we saw today. So it's been really, really awesome to work with all of them.
Yeah, no, this is a great set of applications. I think incredible work from all the students, and I have to give them credit for sticking through this. It's been 5 months, right? That they've been part of it.
Yeah.
So
also would give credit to the legendary instructors, Dan and Corey. So nice work. Nice work.
Yeah. Well, that wraps up another demo day, team presentations, and it's incredible. We just continue to see amazing projects come out of I guess it's me patting myself on the back. We got to see amazing projects coming out of Fullstack.
You did it. You did it.
I did it. I think the theme of today I saw was tons of Firebase, tons of cloud functions, Lambda, Firebase cloud functions. So it really is like a chance to keep the pulse on where developers are thinking how we're going to build applications. So incredible amount of stuff. React Native continues to be very popular with Expo, and now AR for the first time. I think 1 or 2 AR projects.
Yep. We see more AR, more Alexa stuff.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
Alexa.
as the other hardware and APIs get stronger, like it's a really nice proxy to see, because I feel like full stack projects are reasonably cutting edge to what's out there. And so, you know, if you're out there and you want to know what's coming up, tune in to the full stack demo days. Yeah,
yes.
exactly. Yeah.
That's true. It's the best way to stay on top of technology is check out.
Best way is exactly. Ignore Hacker News, TechCrunch. Watch the full stack demo days.
Watch full stack demo days.
I said it first.
I think it really is a testament that so many of these projects are incredible. I think the prizes are a small part of the accomplishments that happen today.
I think that this whole week is always very reflective. I see this I know the holiday season is here, but I also see this general kind of merriment during this week. I think people are stressed out, but at the same time, internally feeling satisfied and they accomplished a lot, and hope everyone who presented today will sleep well tonight, but not too much, because they do have some other events coming up later this week where they need to be at their best.
Okay, and the second place Developers Choice Award is Boilerplate Pro. Round of applause for them. And the winner of the Developers Choice Award is Group Mix from Chicago. Woo!
All right.
Chicago continuing their domination. All right. And the winner of the Facebook, let me say it again. The winner of the Facebook Live Award is Grace Hopper's Codenames Project. Woo!
Awesome.
All right. Round of applause.
God, we spent so much time on that game.
That wraps up another demo day for us here at Fullstack Academy, at Grace Hopper, Fullstack Chicago, WDF New York. So many incredible teams presenting today. If you are interested in staying up to date with the most current technologies, learning how to program, then you might be interested in applying to Fullstack Academy. You can visit fullstackacademy.com to get more information. So
also, if you are serious, I'm talking to you, viewer.
Yeah.
If you are seriously still with us, I am pretty sure that you're interested in applying to Fullstack. So just go ahead and do it.
Just go ahead. Go ahead.
I can't imagine anybody else. This has been a long, it's been an amazing road getting here. So.
All right, I want to send everybody a happy holidays. This has been an incredible year here, and we'll see people again in 2018 for the next FS Demo Day.
We'll have some more bad jokes lined up.
More bad jokes. All right. Bye-bye.